Don't wait. The time will never be right. Start where you are and work with whatever tools you have at your disposal.
Have you ever stopped to think about how many dreams you've postponed in the last year? How many times have you promised to start on Monday next month, when everything is calmer? And now another year has passed, and you're in the same place. The truth is harsh, but liberating. There is no shortage of time. Lack of decision. What separates those who live in abundance from those who live in frustration is not luck. It is mentality. It's the courage to act even without having all the answers. It's about stopping making excuses and starting to build what really matters. Napoleon Hill said, "Procrastination is the killer of success." And he wasn't just talking about business, but about life. How many opportunities have you missed by waiting for the right moment? How many incredible ideas died in the drawer of fear? Most people live believing that they still have plenty of time, but life doesn't wait. Time passes for everyone. And the difference is that some use this time to grow, and others to hide. The big lie they told you is that you need to be ready to start. But what if I told you to start and what prepares you? That no one feels 100% ready. That true motivation is born in movement, not on the couch. That the luck you hope for is, in fact, the name the world gives to silent consistency. While you wait, others are taking action. They are demonstrating. They are reprogramming their beliefs. They are changing their lives. And you? Are you going to let another year slip through your fingers? So take advantage and subscribe to the channel now. This is essential so you don't miss the next videos and continue receiving in-depth content like this, which can really change your life. This simple action also helps to keep this work alive and for us to grow together on this journey of transformation. Now stay with me until the end, because what you hear here could be exactly what turns the key to your story. But be careful, this is not just another motivational content. It's a practical map with ideas and real examples for you to transform thought into action. This is about breaking out of inertia, about growing up, about getting rich, and mainly about not wasting another single minute of the life you deserve to live. Time is the most precious asset any human being can possess. And ironically, it is also what many waste as if it were infinite. There is no way to store time, pause, or recall. Every second that passes is a unique chance for personal growth, mental reprogramming, and manifestation of a new reality. The difference between those who live in abundance and those who remain stagnant lies in how they use this non-negotiable resource. Napoleon Hill already said that success requires urgency. And when we truly understand that time is irreplaceable, self-discipline becomes a lifestyle, not a burden. After all, getting rich, in every way, depends on how much you value each moment. How many times have you postponed something important because you believe that there will be time tomorrow? This illusion is one of the biggest enemies of personal and professional development. Many people live trapped in the false idea that they need to be ready to start, and while they wait, life slips through their fingers. The power of the mind lies precisely in transforming now into action, and not in waiting for perfect conditions. People with a success mindset know that the clock doesn't stop, and that even an imperfect step is worth more than standing still. Every minute counts, especially when you're breaking limiting beliefs and moving towards genuine self-help. You need to reflect. What are you exchanging for your time? Empty social networks, shallow conversations, distractions disguised as rest? Be careful, because every choice has a hidden cost. Those who understand the importance of protecting time create powerful routines. Read a chapter a day who thinks gets rich, for example, is a simple habit that transforms your perception of manifestation and wealth. It is in these details that true professional development is built. A simple no to something irrelevant is a yes to your self-improvement. Time, when used with intention, is like a dream accelerator. It's not about doing more, but about doing what really matters. A young person who wants to change their reality needs to choose between procrastinating or putting into practice a new mental routine, with daily affirmations that connect them to their purpose. And here's a practical example. Set aside 10 minutes in the morning to visualize your goal accomplished. See, feel, believe. This daily practice has been key for those seeking abundance and wanting to learn how to manifest their goals clearly. Most people don't realize that wasting time is also a direct reflection of negative thinking. It's as if the mind seeks silent sabotage to avoid action. And what's worse, this pattern has often been inherited, taught, or cultivated over the years. Therefore, it is essential to stop everything and ask yourself, where am I investing my time and mental energy? The power of the mind can only be activated when there is awareness. And awareness is born when you stop running on automatic and start directing your life with intention. It's not about having more hours in the day, it's about extracting more value from each one of them. And you know what's most interesting? When you honor time, it gives you back in the form of results. Motivation arises naturally, opportunities multiply, and clarity takes the place of confusion. Time is a faithful partner for those who live with purpose and courage. But to reap real rewards, you need to make a clear decision. Either you dominate your time, or it will dominate you. And in this game, success has no room for excuses. There is a dangerous belief that runs through many people's minds. The idea that success is a matter of luck. As if wealth, abundance, and fulfillment fell from the sky, or were the privilege of a few. But anyone who studies the power of the mind, as Napoleon Hill taught, understands that true success is forged every day, behind the scenes, when no one is watching. There is no magic, just a success mindset. It is the small daily decisions, guided by self-discipline and clarity of purpose, that build an extraordinary life. And that's precisely where the change begins, understanding that you don't need luck. You need action. Lack of progress rarely has to do with external factors. Most people believe that it is the government, the economy, or a lack of time that is stopping them from growing. But the truth, often difficult to face, is that the blocks are inside the mind. These are limiting beliefs, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being enough. All of this hinders personal development and sabotages the desire to get rich. When a person begins to reprogram their mind, they realize what was holding them back was not the world outside, it was what they believed about themselves. A practical example: imagine someone who dreams of opening a business, but never starts because they don't know how to sell. This person doesn't need luck, he needs to develop skills and strengthen his self-confidence. Read books like The Power of the Subconscious or Awaken Your Inner Giant, it's a great start. Additionally, she can practice affirmations such as, "I am capable of learning everything necessary to achieve my success." Over time, this new success mindset replaces negative thinking, and what seemed impossible starts to become natural. The secret is to take full responsibility. This does not mean blaming yourself, but understanding that, if something is not going well, it is because there are still internal points to be polished. The good news? Everything can be reprogrammed. All, from the fear of rejection to chronic procrastination. With consistency and the right tools, such as meditation, journaling, affirmations, and mentoring, it is possible to transform any limiting belief into a bridge to personal growth. What seems like a block today could be the gateway to your next version. The difference between someone who lives the life of their dreams and someone who feels stuck is in the rituals. Successful people don't let their emotions decide their actions. They act every day, even without will, even in fear, even in doubt. This is the essence of self-discipline, and it is exactly this type of behavior that separates those who prosper from those who just dream. The luck. It is created when you bring intention and action into alignment every day, with or without motivation. And the journey only begins when you accept this principle. You are not here to live limited. You were born with the power to manifest a life of freedom, wealth, and purpose. But this only happens when you look inside and face what paralyzes you. True growth doesn't depend on anyone out there. It just depends on you taking the first step, and then keeping the momentum going with purpose. There is an invisible force that guides those who achieve what many consider impossible: purpose. It's not a vague desire, it's not just any desire. It's that internal flame that, even in the face of difficulties, remains lit. When someone is absolutely clear about what they want, everything else falls into line. Decisions become easier, paths become more obvious, and even obstacles seem like steps. True personal development begins when the individual stops chasing everything at once and starts pursuing just one thing with intensity. As Napoleon Hill would say, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can accomplish. The example of Edwin C. Barnes is one of the greatest proofs of the power of unwavering purpose. He didn't just want to work with Thomas Edison, he wanted to be his partner. This is purpose. He had no money, no contacts, no experience. But he had a clear, firm, ardent decision. And that's what led him to cross cities, accept simple jobs, and wait for the right moment to prove his worth. It wasn't luck. It was a success mindset, fueled every day by internal affirmations that he could do it. And he succeeded, because I knew exactly where I wanted to go. When a person doesn't have a clear purpose, everything becomes a distraction. One day she wants to work in marketing, the next she wants to open a restaurant, then she thinks about giving up everything and moving to another country. This inconstancy comes from a lack of clarity. And without clarity, there is no progress. A powerful way to find your purpose is to ask yourself, if money wasn't an issue, what would I do with my time and energy every day? This simple question activates the power of the mind and begins to dissolve limiting beliefs that confuse our real desires with external expectations. Having a clear goal also creates focus and eliminates noise. You start saying no to what doesn't get you there. If your purpose is to get rich by helping other people with knowledge, for example, this directs you to study, produce content, seek mentors, and create a practical plan of action. This is professional development based on self-improvement. It's not about running more, it's about running in the right direction. And that only happens when you know where you're going. Without purpose, even the greatest efforts are lost in the wind. Purpose is what transforms suffering into learning. When difficulties appear, and they will appear, purpose is what prevents the person from giving up. He remembers the reason for everything. He is the one who keeps the flame burning even on the darkest days. And that is the difference between those who give up and those who grow. Having a strong reason to follow makes even the impossible a matter of time. Purpose is an internal compass that points you towards abundance, towards manifestation, towards what is truly yours. And that's where a simple but extremely powerful practice comes in. Writing this purpose in clear, direct words, almost like a declaration. Because when you put it on paper, something magical happens. The human mind is powerful, but it is also treacherous when it does not find direction. An unregistered thought is like a boat without an anchor. It can be carried away by any current. Therefore, writing down your goals is an act of conscious manifestation. When you write, you declare. You make a commitment to your own journey of personal growth and professional development. Napoleon Hill always emphasized that clarity of mind is the first step, but writing turns this into a tangible reality. And it doesn't have to be complex. A simple note can completely change the way you see your goals. The problem for many people is that they rely too much on memory and too little on paper. The person has a dream, a desire, but they don't register it. And then the day passes, the week flies, the month ends, and the dream disappears. But when you write with intention, whether in a notebook, in digital notes, or on a whiteboard, you take it out of abstraction and bring it into the physical world. This activates the power of the mind much more intensely. Self-discipline begins to strengthen because now there is something visible reminding you, hey, you promised yourself this. If you've never done this, start with something simple. Write down 3 clear goals for the next 6 months on a sheet of paper today. For example, I want to increase my income by 50% with my own business. I want to lose 8 kilograms with health and joy. I want to become a daily reader of books about self-help and personal growth. When you name your goals, you attract them. This is pure mental reprogramming. What's more, rereading these goals every day, morning and night, reinforces your success mindset and eliminates the noise of negative thinking. There are people who doubt the strength of this practice until they try it. But those who practice affirmations, visualization, and writing know, it is in this repetitive process that the subconscious begins to accept the new reality as truth. The mind does not differentiate between what is experienced and what is constantly imagined and declared. Therefore, writing is more than organization. It is a manifestation ritual. And if you want to enhance this process even further, write as if you had already achieved it. I am a successful entrepreneur. I live in abundance every day. I have control over my habits and actions. Writing is also a way to deprogram limiting beliefs. When you write down your fears, your doubts, and your insecurities, you begin to see what needs to be given new meaning. It's not magic, it's clarity. And with clarity comes action. When you look at the paper, you realize what you're holding back and can replace those thoughts with new, empowering beliefs. Phrases like, I'm not good enough, can give way to, I'm constantly evolving and getting closer to my full potential every day. In fact, if you've made it this far, I want to ask you a quick but very important favor. Subscribe to the channel. This really helps the growth of our work and ensures that you don't miss any videos like this. We're just starting this journey together, and there's a lot of powerful things coming. It all starts in the mind. Before any external change can happen, an internal transformation is necessary. The thoughts you feed every day are like seeds, and sooner or later, they will blossom into your reality. If you cultivate negative thoughts, fears, and limiting beliefs, your life inevitably reflects scarcity, stagnation, and frustration. But if you plant thoughts of abundance, purpose, and personal power, the scenario changes. And it changes quickly. Napoleon Hill dedicated his life to proving that the power of the mind is the foundation of all lasting success. And he was right. The good news is that the mindset of success is not a gift, it is construction. And like all construction, it requires brick by brick. One of the most powerful pillars of this construction are affirmations. Said out loud or mentally, daily, they reprogram your subconscious and help you replace limiting thoughts with empowering convictions. Want a practical example? Start and end your day by saying, I am capable, I deserve it, and I achieve. Does it seem too simple? Try it for 21 days and observe the changes. It is in the simple that the extraordinary lives. Beyond affirmations, what you consume daily shapes your worldview. Podcasts, books, videos, all of this directly influences your personal development. A good starting point? Listen daily to excerpts from Think and Grow Rich, if possible in audio, while performing simple tasks. Feeding the mind with meaningful content is like feeding the body with healthy food. Over time, you begin to have more energy, more clarity, and a new vibration. This is self-help in practice, with a real and direct impact on your professional and emotional life. Another powerful factor in building the right mindset is the environment. Who are the voices you hear most? What groups, communities, or profiles do you follow on social media? People who are on the same frequency of personal growth will naturally boost you. People trapped in complaints, guilt, and victimization will drag you down. The choice is yours. Creating a circle of inspiring people, even if it's virtual, is one of the best ways to strengthen your success mindset. And we can't forget that mentality also needs movement. It's not enough to think positively and sit still. Action confirms belief. Every time you act, even in fear, you are telling your brain, this is possible for me. And the more you reinforce this truth with attitudes, the more your subconscious cooperates. The manifestation of results comes from the union between thought and practice. It is this balance that transforms good intentions into real experiences of abundance, wealth, and purpose. So, if everything starts in the mind, the question that remains is, what kind of thoughts have you been feeding every day? What are you allowing to occupy the most sacred space of your being? Because from the moment you take control over what you think, feel, and declare, fear loses strength, and you start to act even when it is still around. Fear, when not understood, paralyzes. It arrives subtly, disguised as prudence, caution, even common sense. But deep down, what it does is postpone dreams, stifle ideas, and prevent you from manifesting your true greatness. Napoleon Hill warns us that fear is one of the greatest forces that block wealth, personal growth, and self-discipline. And do you know what the worst kind of fear is? The one you don't even notice anymore, because you've gotten used to living with it. Therefore, it takes courage not to overcome fear, but to act even when it is present. Waiting for the fear to pass is like waiting for the water to stop getting wet. Fear only dissolves in action. As long as you stand still, it grows, gets stronger, installs, and then you start to justify, now is not the right time, maybe I still need to learn more, it's too risky. This all seems logical, but it is pure sabotage. One small step taken today is worth more than 1,000 ideas stored in a drawer. Anyone who learns how to manifest their dreams understands this. The universe responds to movement, not hesitation. Want a practical example? Suppose you want to start a YouTube channel, launch a course, open a business, but you feel butterflies in your stomach just thinking about it. The secret is to divide the fear into parts. Instead of trying to do everything at once, choose one small but real action. Create a script, record a short video, tell someone you trust about the project. The simple act of leaving the mind and entering the physical world begins to weaken fear. Trust is born from action. And the more you act, the more you convince yourself that you are capable. Many people believe that only special people can overcome fear. But the truth is that everyone is afraid. The difference is in who decides to move even with it. This is a success mindset. This is mental reprogramming. And mainly, this is what separates those who live in expectation from those who live in abundance. Courage is built, not inherited. And it is born every time you look at fear and say, I'm going anyway. Fear loses power when you stop feeding it with silence and start confronting it with action. It is also important to take care of the internal narrative. Often, fear becomes stronger because we repeat stories that limit us. I'm not good at this. I wasn't born for this. I always fail. These phrases have weight. They shape your identity. Therefore, replacing these stories with positive affirmations such as, "I act with courage every day," "Fear does not define my decisions," or "I am greater than my fears," can be liberating. This type of daily self-help reprograms your belief system and prepares your mind for greater flights. And then you begin to realize something profound. It's not about not feeling fear. It's about not being commanded by it. Because when fear stops being your driver and becomes just a passenger, you become unstoppable. And then everything around you starts to change. People, opportunities, paths. The impulse begins to grow, and this impulse, when well directed, will take you to places you never imagined possible. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It may seem like an exaggeration, but this phrase holds a powerful truth. The environment you find yourself in has a direct impact on your personal growth, your motivation, and even your ability to become rich. If you are surrounded by people who are always complaining, who don't believe in the power of the mind, who scoff at affirmations and treat self-help as nonsense, guess what? Little by little, you begin to reproduce these same patterns. Not because he wants to, but because the environment silently influences his mind. Napoleon Hill spoke clearly. Success is not born by chance, and much less does it develop in the midst of mediocrity. If you want to build a successful mindset, you need to choose wisely who walks alongside you. This applies to friendships, romantic relationships, and work partners. People with focus, discipline, and vision of the future pull you up, even without realizing it. Negative, skeptical, or accommodating people hold you back. Therefore, improve your circle like someone taking care of a garden. Cut the weeds and get closer to the flowers that strengthen you. But what if I don't have anyone like that around me? This question is common, and the answer is simple. Create your virtual circle. Nowadays, you can follow mentors, content creators, communities, and online groups that breathe personal growth. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, read books. Start by Think and Grow Rich, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, or Neville Goddard's teachings on manifestation. The important thing is to keep your mind immersed in a fertile field where positive thinking is the norm and not the exception. Also, be mindful of the dialogues you allow. When someone says, "That's impossible," "You'll never make it," or "You dream too big," you don't have to accept those beliefs. In fact, these are projections of other people's insecurities, not absolute truths. Respond mentally with an affirmation. I am guided by my own vision, not the limits of others. Mental reprogramming also involves protecting your mind from toxic words, no matter how disguised as advice they may be. Also value the exchange. Be among people who not only inspire, but challenge your evolution. Someone who makes you reflect, who provokes you with powerful questions, who encourages you to step out of your comfort zone. That's the kind of mentor that's worth its weight in gold. And it doesn't have to be someone famous. Sometimes the real mentor is a friend who has already walked a path you want to follow, or in an unexpected conversation with someone who believes in you before you even believe in you. Over time, you will notice that the higher your circle, the higher your thinking pattern, and that changes everything. You start to act differently, to dream bigger, to manifest more clearly. Your environment shapes you, but when you choose your environment with intention, you shape your reality. And then consistency starts to make sense in a new, almost natural way. While many wait for the ideal motivation to start, true achievers rely on consistency. It is what transforms the ordinary into extraordinary. Napoleon Hill always made it clear. It's not what you do every now and then that changes your life. It's what you do every day. And this applies to everything, from mental reprogramming to professional growth. The mindset of success is not built on peaks of excitement, but on the conscious repetition of habits that elevate. It's like going to the gym. It's not the perfect workout that changes your body, it's constant training. Many people slow down because they want to start with perfection. When I have the best equipment, when I know everything about it, when I am 100% ready. But that moment never comes. And meanwhile, the days go by. Motivation comes and goes, but self-discipline remains. Want an example? A simple video posted every week, even without impeccable editing, has much more transformative power than a super production that never gets off the ground. The secret is not to stop. Never stop. Another point is the myth of "I don't have time." The truth is that there is a lack of priority, not time. If you honestly analyze your routine, you will notice that there are gaps, often occupied by social media, distractions, and even unproductive conversations. Swap 20 minutes of scrolling on your cell phone for 20 minutes of reading a book like The Miracle Morning could be the turning point. It is in these small adjustments that abundance is born. Success does not require giant sacrifices, it requires conscious and constant choices. The biggest transformations in life come from the simplest actions. Write down your goals every morning. Repeat your manifestation affirmations before bed. Study 15 minutes a day about finance, self-knowledge, or wealth mindset. This is self-help with practice. This is personal growth in the vein. And when you look back after a few months, everything has changed. And the best part, it changed because you decided to be constant, not perfect. This is what great achievers have in common. Consistency also strengthens your identity. Every time you deliver on what you promised, even if it's something small, you are saying to your subconscious, I am trustworthy. I am committed. I achieve. And this repetition builds a new internal image, stronger and more aligned with what you want to manifest. This is worth more than any magical technique or complex strategy. What really works is what you can maintain in the long term. And when you realize that you can maintain a rhythm, even on difficult days, you understand that the perfect moment is a myth. And here comes the next revelation. The wait is costing you. How many times have you said to yourself, when I'm ready, I'll start? This seemingly harmless phrase is a silent poison. She freezes. She postpones. She turns dreams into frustrations. The perfect moment, like the fear we talked about before, is a comfortable illusion. The truth is that great achievers act even when everything is still hazy. Napoleon Hill said, "Don't wait. The time will never be right." This is one of the greatest truths of personal development. Because waiting is, almost always, an elegant excuse for not acting. Procrastination is often a disguised fear. Fear of judgment, of failure, of leaving the comfort zone. But she presents herself as, I'll think better. I need to organize myself. I'll look at this calmly later. And then time passes. A month. 3. 1 year. And that project, that change, that plan remains in the same place. If you are reading this now, now is the time. There is no after. There is only now, and now is the only real door to the abundance, manifestation, and wealth you want to experience. If you want to change your life, start with what you have. Any way you can, even without knowing everything, even without feeling prepared. What matters is generating movement. A simple video recorded with a cell phone. A text written without perfect proofreading. A business plan drafted on paper. All of this has more value than 1,000 ideas in the mind. Action breaks the cycle of stagnation. It reprograms the mind. It tells the universe, I am ready to receive. And that's when everything starts to transform. The person who wins in life is not the most intelligent, nor the most talented. It's what starts, and it continues. Even full of doubts, even facing obstacles. There is a strength that comes from attitude. Every step taken, no matter how small it may seem, carries enormous power to unlock new opportunities. Whoever decides to act today is already ahead of 95% of people. And this choice, no matter how small it may seem, could become the turning point you've been waiting for. A powerful practice is to define a first step that you can take today. It could be writing down your goals. It could be creating a script. It could be recording an audio with affirmations. The important thing is to leave the field of ideas and enter the frequency of realization. Because that's what the success mindset does. It acts before understanding everything, trusting that clarity comes along the way. This is the essence of practical self-help, of applied personal growth. This is what takes you away from negative thinking and brings you closer to what you were born to live. And now that you understand all this, the question remains that echoes as a challenge. What will be different tomorrow if you keep waiting? Don't let another year slip by. Get started today. And if you want to continue receiving content that encourages you to act, take advantage and subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Because here, we don't wait for the perfect moment, we create it together. Now tell me, how many more years are you willing to waste believing that the time is not yet right? How many goals need to be abandoned before you realize that the problem was never a lack of time, but a lack of action? Everything you need to transform your life is already there within you. What's missing is aligning thoughts, emotions, and attitude. Success is not a destination. It's a lifestyle built on small daily steps. Do you have any idea where you could be in 6 months if you applied just 10% of what you heard here today? Imagine starting to write down your goals, practicing affirmations, seeking out new social circles, acting consistently. How much would this change your vibration, your results, your confidence? It's no longer about just learning. Now it's about living what you've learned. It's about making every word said here become reality. So I ask you, what are you going to do today that your future self will thank you for? What is the first step you can take now, even today, to break the cycle of waiting and enter the flow of personal growth? Tell me in the comments, because I really want to know what decision you will make after this video. Let's talk, exchange experiences, and grow together. If this content moved you in some way, if it made you reflect, if it boosted you, if it brought you clarity, leave a like now. This shows that it is worth continuing to produce materials like this. And if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Because this is just the beginning. There's a lot more about mindset, mental reprogramming, manifestation, and growth coming. You are closer than you think to achieving everything you want. The question is, will you continue waiting or will you start now? Do you see the video that is now appearing on your screen? He didn't appear to you by chance. Click and see, as it can also help you a lot.